from here, Banaras Hindu University
Right,
itself. Okay.
right. He
So,
mentioned yes, sir.
yeah.
So I think just to introduce him for the new participants, he is Professor A.K. Mishra, a professor in the Department of Mathematics, Institute of Science, Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi. His areas of interest include mathematical modeling of environmental and ecological systems, mathematical modeling of epidemics, mathematical modeling of social dynamics, bifurcation and delay mathematical modeling, spatio-temporal modeling, deterministic and stochastic mathematical modeling. And he has, ladies and gentlemen, he has vast experience in research and many contribution in the form of research projects, publications. So I'm sure all the participants will be benefited from his experience and from his work. So do interact with him. If you have queries, please keep it. At the end, he will take up. With these words, I welcome Professor Mishra and request him to go ahead and deliver his lecture.
So,
Sir,
thank you,
please start.
Professor Jamal. Yeah, so thank you, Professor Jamal, for nice introduction. So, earlier I have already discussed something about the epidemiological modeling. So, just to avoid the communication gap or time gap between voice and all those things, I will switch off my video so that you can listen me very carefully. Okay, so I am just stopping my video and I am sharing my slides. Slides are visible or not? Professor Jamal,
Sir, not yet, sir.
now
Coming. Coming, sir.
it is okay?
Yes. You can just
Yeah.
make full screen, I think.
Okay, so
Yeah.
now it is okay? Perfect.
Yes, nice, sir. Yes.
Okay. So earlier in my previous lecture, I have talked something about the cure of the diseases. Simply means I was talking about the healthcare facilities, especially the number of hospital beds. So that lecture was related with the thing that if someone got the infection in the community, then he need a bed. Okay. So that's why I have talked about the treatment and all those things were coming under the healthcare facilities. But today I am going to talk something different because I believe that precautions are better than cure. So keeping this in mind that precautions are better than cure, so you will enjoy this lecture, I think, if you will keep in mind this fact. So today I am going to discuss about the dynamics of infectious diseases, effect of TV, radio, and social media advertisements. So all of things you are aware, you some other resource persons have already talked about the dynamics of infectious diseases. TV already you know, radio you know, social media generally we are using the Facebook, Twitter, all those things. Okay. So we are aware of all these things, and I am going to talk about that how these factors, TV, radio, and social media advertisements are going to affect the dynamics of infectious diseases. Okay. So I will skip some slides because these are the basic slides, and which already I have shown you. So this is the outline of the type, epidemiological modeling. I have already talked about that. Kermack McKendrick SIR compartmental model. I have already talked about that. I will talk little bit about the SIR model with demography, and then my lecture will start from the 4 to 10. Okay. So here I have already talked. So just I am skipping these slides. This is already I have told you. This is a very simple model, SIR model with demography. So I have already talked about this model also, but this is a very basic model where S is the susceptible population, I is the infected population, R is the required population, A is the recruitment rate in the class S, which comes either through immigration or through birth. Okay. Beta is the contact rate between the susceptible and infected individuals. Once they will come into contact with each other, then they will susceptible population will acquire the infection and then they will simply move to the I class. So that's why this is beta psi factor. Here it is with minus sign, here it is with plus sign. D is the natural death rate, which is same in all the compartments. Here DS, here DI, here DR. Delta is the recovery rate. Basically, person from the R class will recover and then they will join the S class again. And mu is the recovery rate. Person from the infected class will recover and then they will join the R class, and alpha is the disease induced death rate. The whole phenomena, this is with demography is governed by these three equations. So what persons are trying? When we were trying, trying to model the situations to control any infectious diseases, there are three factors. Either you can control the immigration or you can control the beta. D is the natural death rate, which is common. You cannot control it, or you can increase the recovery rate. Okay. So recovery rate is new. So some mathematical models are there with who I consider in those models, it is considered that recovery rate is not constant, but this is a function of healthcare facilities. That's what I was talking in my previous lecture. That rather than taking new as a constant, we have considered new as a function of number of hospital beds. This kind of developments have taken place. So we thought that, and in the analysis of this model, we got two, three things. That one thing is the basic reproduction number. Basic reproduction number, I have already talked about that, and this is simply BT into 1 by nu plus alpha plus D into A by D. And here we got only two equilibrium points. One is disease-free equilibrium point, where the whole population is susceptible and infected is zero, so record is also zero. Second thing is if R0 is greater than 1, we got one endemic equilibrium, that is S star, I star, and R star, and the value of S star, I star, and R star are obtained in terms of parameter itself. So on the value of I star, we can easily note that if R0 is greater than 1, then I star will be positive. If R0 is less than 1, what will happen? I star will become negative. And because no population can be negative, so we'll say that if R0 is less than 1, it means this equilibrium will not exist. Only the equilibrium point which will exist is the E0 A by D, comma 0, comma 0. This is the equilibrium point which exists if R0 is less than 1. This is the unique disease pre-equilibrium point. If R0 is greater than 1, then we will get two equilibrium points, that is disease pre-equilibrium point and the endemic equilibrium point. Then, of course, naturally, we can check the stability of all these both the equilibrium points. We can easily show that if R0 is less than 1, then the disease pre-equilibrium point is locally asymptotically stable, and in that case, this endemic equilibrium point will not exist. And if R0 is greater than 1, then we can prove that this A star is locally asymptotically stable, and in that case, basically, the disease persists in the community. Okay, this was I have already talked about all these facts. Okay. So right now, what is media? So media, I have included all these things: newspapers, internet, television, radio, magazines, etc. These factors come into the media. So the question comes: can media affect the dynamics of the infectious disease? This is my first question. So basically, if you want to disseminate any information in the population, this is basically, this can be easily done through the media. Suppose we are reading any newspaper or we are watching TV, suddenly some news comes about any, and we can easily judge that, yes, this is the thing which is happening in the community. And we can prepare ourselves for that. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen that the government was making too much advertisements for this through media to aware the population that wear the face mask and all this. They were informing about the protective measures of disease, so that you can minimize the chance of getting the infection. Okay, there are other factors for quarantine and all those things, but the basic focus was of the media was to wear the face mask, to avoid the gatherings, to go in the gatherings, etc. These things were propagated through the media, television, or you can see on the newspapers. You can also heard the news on the radio, through internet, social media, because so many people were putting the nice pictures and all those things on the internet, that if you will basically do this thing, then you can contact the infection. So all these factors, newspapers, internet, television, radio, magazines, were propagating the information regarding the COVID-19. So similarly, if any infectious disease is spread in the community, all these social media, television, internet, they are very much helpful to aware the population in the community, so that they can adopt precautionary measures, and they can minimize their chance of getting infected. So basically, I initially I said that precautions are better than cure. Earlier lecture was about the cure. Right now the lecture is about the precautionary measures. Okay. So this thing I wanted to say about the media. Okay. So you can see the pictures. I have put something on that. So what is the awareness program? Awareness programs means community-wide or audience-specific programming initiatives and strategies that increase audience knowledge and share information. So these are the basic meaning of the awareness programs. So social media is a powerful tool and can be used to spread awareness regarding diverse subjects, including social and public health issues. It has become an easily accessible and open platform to express opinions and discussions on any global topic or matter of concern. So basically, I'm not talking about all the global topics here, especially I am talking about the infectious diseases. So the thing is that, okay, let me come little bit later. I will talk about those things. So, what is the importance of media? Media is widely acknowledged as an important intervention in raising issues of public health care and plays promising role to control the infection through propagating awareness among the individuals. It has the ability to disseminate well-defined messages to the population across the globe and also motivates the government to change their health policies. Okay, all these 4 points are very important. So you might have read all these points. So in basically go back in 2008, Liu and Kui published a paper in International Journal of Biomathematics. And basically I got that paper through the internet, and because this was the freely available. So what they did, earlier I have talked about the SIR model with demography. Demography. So what we have considered that A minus beta SI minus ds plus delta r. So what they said that suppose some infection is spreading in the population. So the newspaper reporting is quite important. So generally people read the newspaper in the morning, and if you read in the newspaper that so many infected individuals are found in your city of a particular disease. So suddenly you will start to meet your friends and you avoid your contact with the other person. So the basic idea you want to have considered that due to the media, what they are reporting, because of that only the people will try to avoid their contacts with the other persons. So they have considered that rather than considering beta as a constant, basically contacted beta as a constant, they have considered that it depends on the number of infected in the community. And they have considered that beta is a decreasing function of number of infected from the community. So they have taken beta as a function of I, beta 1 minus beta 2 I upon m plus I. So remember that what is the assumption is that if you will consider beta to be 0, then beta I will be simply beta 1. You will get your model back, SIRS model with demography, what we have discussed earlier. But because media has reported that the number of infected individuals are found in this particular community, as soon as the number of infected individuals increases, people will try to avoid their contacts more. Okay. But in Varanasi, there are only 10 infected individuals are found of this COVID-19. Then we don't bother. If the number of infected individuals becomes 100, we will bother little bit. But if number of infected individuals are found to be 5,000, we will not move from my home, because I know that if I don't know that who is infected or who is not infected. So suddenly most of the persons who are aware because of who are reading the newspapers and they got the news that 5,000 individuals are found to be infected in this particular city, the persons will try to avoid their contact with infected individuals. But sometimes what is happening that if the number of infected individuals is increasing, but people read the newspapers, but they don't care a lot. So that's why the impact of the media is considered to be limited. Here you can see that I upon m plus I. As soon as I increases, this factor increases. But if I reaches I got large value, means I tends to infinity, then the value of this factor I upon m plus I tends to 1. So basically, this is a saturating function that initially population will respond a lot, but as soon as the number of infected increases large, what will happen? If the population of that particular city will be saturated, and then they will not respond too much on for this media. Okay, but remember that only thing is that they have considered, they have modified the contact rate. In the model, SIRS model, they have considered beta was considered to be constant, but right now the beta is not a constant. They have considered that beta is a decreasing function of number of infected individuals reported to the newspaper. So simple assumption was this, and you can remember that in the 1927, Kermack and McKendrick have proposed a model, and then suddenly after that, a quite long period of time, we got an SIRS model, and then in 2008, nearly after 80 years, 81 years, we have one model where we have modified the contact rate. And this model gained a lot of popularity among the mathematical modelers. So let us try to write the mathematical model. You can see simply the equations are SIRS equations. The only thing is that if you take beta to be 0, you will get the same model which I have described earlier. So how it is going to change the dynamics? So here they have found that the basic absorption number is beta 1 lambda divided by d, nu plus alpha plus d. Of course, reporting was there through media, but this media does not have any impact on the basic reproduction number. Basic reproduction number was same as obtained for the SIRS model described earlier. So, but the only thing is, we thought that they have derived that media does not have any impact on the basic reproduction number, but it impacts the number of infected individuals. As soon as the number of reported cases increases, what happens? Number of infected individuals decreases. This was also true, and this was seen through numerical simulations also. So if anyone is interested, he can read the paper by Liu and Kui. This is a very simple mathematical model. If you know the analysis of the entire model with demography, then easily you can analyze this model. Okay. Say, we have written it. Then in 2011, we thought, okay, we have tried to modify this model. So the question was here, it seems to be quite interesting that if the number of infected individuals basically reported through the newspapers increases, the contact rate between susceptible and infected individuals decreases. Okay, fine. The question is, how will you quantify them? How I will know that this particular person has basically awareness about regarding the disease or not? So this is something to quantify the things. It was very difficult. Basically, this has motivated me to write a research paper in this direction. So I have tried, okay, how can I write a paper? So here simply they have considered SIRS model, and they have only thing was that they have modified the contact rate. Then I thought that how we can incorporate the awareness programs in the modeling phenomena. So the question was that how many advertisements are basically awareness programs we should run through media to control the spread of any infectious disease. And what is the impact of these awareness programs on the dynamics of the infectious disease? So in 2011, we have published a paper in mathematical and computer modeling journal, and the basic assumption was I have simply modified the model proposed by Liu and Chu, and basically they have only modified the contact rate, but I have thought that the media program should be explicitly incorporated in the modeling phenomena. So here, what I said, I did, I have taken N as the number of awareness programs run by media, which are proportional to the number of infected individuals. So that's why you can see that dm by dt is mu I minus mu 0 m, because after some time, some awareness programs are running, are coming in the newspapers. What is happening that people will not read it because again and again they also lose their popularity. Because we know that our mind conceives those things which are new. So generally, because of the unpopularity of some awareness programs, they may be basically deleted from the list, and that's why we have considered mu 0M. So mu 0M is the depletion rate in the awareness programs, or you can say decay rate in the awareness programs. And as soon as the number of infected individuals increases in the community, number of awareness programs increases. Now question comes, what these awareness programs will do? These awareness programs will aware the population, and because some fraction of the population will be aware, then they will read this information, and then they will form a separate class. So right now you can see that here, because of the media, when the susceptible individuals comes in to the contact of the media programs, what will happen? They will form a split class, which is denoted by SA. So the rate of change of the SA class will depend on the number of awareness programs, which is as well as the number of susceptible individuals. So lambda is the rate of dissemination, how much awareness programs are disseminated in the susceptible population. So because of that, people will form the aware class. So the population will move from S class to SA class, lambda 0 SA. This is also an important factor because suppose we are aware about the transmission route of the disease, but the question is in India, if suppose some marriage ceremony is taking place, we are aware about the spread of the infection, but still we go to attend that marriage. And there are so many functions are there. So population will go away, but still they go to attend some functions or ceremonies. Basically, they will forget because of these circumstances, social norms. So because of that, people will move from the SA class to S class. And once they will basically go to the S class, they may acquire the infection again. Here, the basic assumption we have considered that aware class is basically fully aware and they will not contact the infection. That is the basic, very strong assumption. And rest once you are aware that beta is the contact rate, so once they will come into susceptible population will come into the contact with the infected individuals, what will happen? They will move from the S class to I class. Rho is the natural recovery rate, so they will join to the S class. Alpha is the disease-induced death rate, and D is the natural death rate, which is common in all the compartments. This model got a lot of popularity because in general, till 2008, people were trying to modify either the contact rate or they were trying to modify the recovery rate. This was the first model at the international level where we have considered media as a explicit variable and we have also considered a separate class of aware class. So because of that, have started to work on this and basically we got a lot of citations that is currently 2013 citations for this particular paper. This is a very simple mathematical model. I will tell you the analysis. Then we have analyzed it. And here all these parameters are defined. Lambda is the immigration rate, beta transmission rate. You may be aware of that. Mu is the rate with which awareness programs are being implemented. Mu 0 is the depletion rate of awareness programs. Okay. So this one, for this model also, we have made some publications. I think 9 or 10 publications we have made basically based on this factor. So what I did, in this model, we have considered that the aware population is fully protected from the infection. But I told you that this is a very strong assumption. So in the next model, we have also modified it. And then basically we have considered that once the aware population comes into contact with the infected individuals, they may also acquire the infection. This was a little bit generalization. Then we have considered that suppose government wants to implement some awareness programs. So the number of reported cases to the government basically not the scenario. They may have data somewhere old. So basically, this I should be basically number of awareness programs which you are implement basically that depends on the number of reported cases 2 days earlier. So there must be a delay differential equation model. We have model doesn't we have also basically modified two terms and we have made 8-9 publications I think so. So this was the story up to 2015-16. Basically, from 11 to 16, I published two research papers, research articles in this direction. But in 2018, I wanted to change little bit this model. That how can we change this model? So what I thought that okay, we have taken that dm by dt is proportional to mu I. Integers as well as the number of infected individuals in integers. That's true. If we are making any advertisements on TV, putting any advertisements, they will cost a lot. So as soon as the awareness among the population, basically the number of individuals in the asset class increases, then we must reduce the number of awareness program, advertisements in the community. So you might have seen in the case of polio. So earlier there were so many advertisements were there that go boon zindagi ke and all those things were there. But right now hardly we can see one or two advertisements in a day. I have never seen an advertisement for the polio since last 6 or 7 months. And at that time, basically a few years back, I was basically regularly we were saying so many advertisements on TV. So because the government assumes that nearly polio has been eradicated from the our country, so why they should spend the money on that? Okay. So keeping this aspect in mind, we have modified this model by incorporating that this number of advertisements made by media, basically TV or social media, this mu must be modified. So I have tried to modify this mu. Let us see that how we have modified it. Here, right now we are going to talk about the advertisements. Rather than awareness program, we are talking about the advertisements. To disseminate awareness, several modes like television, radio, posters, social media, etc. can be used. Nowadays, social media is an important platform to propagate information regarding the risk of infection and its control mechanism. The change in human behavior towards the diseases through print media, social media, internet are limited only to educated people. The TV ads have the capacity to influence large population. Less educated people too in a very short period of time and thus are more effective. So you can see visuals are very attractive. Sometimes if we are reading some news in the paper, we forget it. Okay. But if something we are seeing on the TV, okay, this kind of things are happening, then it basically this is the capacity of your mind that if you are seeing something through your eyes, you will remember for a longer period of time. So that's why we have considered TV as a basically broadcasting medium for this information that we want to propagate in the population regarding the spread of the disease. So how we have incorporated, rest of the model is same. Beta is the contact rate, S is the susceptible population, I is the infected individuals, A is the aware population, N is the basically number of advertisements. So here we have considered falling type 2 functions. Basically, earlier model, I have considered lambda SM term was there. Let me rather than going to this, directly come to the model itself. Here we have considered the four classes, three classes in the human population, S, I, and A. A is the aware population, MT is the media advertisements. Okay, and NT is the total population, which is the sum of S plus I plus A. So here you can see the model. So if you will put lambda S M upon P plus M, replace M upon P plus M by, okay, and then take theta A to be 0. Replace M by P plus M by M and put theta A to be 0 and M0 is to be 0. I will explain that how we have generalized this model. This is very important factor. So your S equation will become ds by dt is equal to lambda minus beta si minus lambda sm plus mu I plus lambda 0 a minus ds. I equation is same. dA by dt will be lambda Sm minus lambda 0A minus dA. dm by dt will become Ri minus R0M. So this is basically the same model which I have typed earlier in 2011, published in MCM. So the only difference is we have replaced M by P plus M. First thing. Second thing, we have incorporated the factor theta A divided by omega plus A. We have incorporated the factor M0 over here. So these two factors have a much biological significance. Why we have considered M upon P plus M? Earlier we have considered that the number of media program awareness programs increases, people will aware in the same proportion. But sometimes what is happening, media has limited impact. What is happening, just watching a movie on the TV, and suddenly some advertisement comes, and we have seen that advertisement 4 or 5 times earlier. What is our target? Suppose we are seeing the Star Gold, the movie on Star Gold, and suddenly that advertisement appears on that particular instant. Suddenly we will change that channel to another one. Okay, and if the same advertisements are coming over there, we will change it again. So basically, this media, if we run number of other increases the advertisements, what will happen? It has a limited impact on the population. So that's why we have considered M upon P plus M factor over here. Okay. So that's why lambda is the dissemination rate, correct. S is the subsidiary population, that is correct. M upon P plus M, basically we have considered that media advertisements have limited impact on the population to motivate the population to be aware. So that's why we have considered M upon P plus M factor. And here they will join, leave the S class, and then they will join the A class. Lambda 0 already I have explained, and D already natural death rate. What is M0 factor? M0 factor is the baseline number of awareness program. Earlier we have seen that in the Liu and Fu model, we have seen that media does not have any impact on the basic production number. And in 2011, we have published a paper in that also we have observed that media does not have any impact on the basic production number. Then the people have started to ask the question that if media does not have the impact on, basically we want those kinds of advertisements which have the impact on the basic production number. So basically, I have tried to modify our model, and then we have considered that M0. What is M0? M0 is the baseline number of awareness program. What does it basically baseline number of advertisement? This simply means that whether there is a disease or not, disease persists or not, you have eradicated the disease from the community, but still you will have to maintain certain number of media advertisements. Okay. So basically, I am talking about I have talked earlier about the polio. Earlier, we were getting so many advertisements for the polio, but still we are getting one advertisement or two advertisements per day for the polio. Although we know that polio has been nearly eradicated from the community. So that again, the disease should not spread in the community or in any country. So that's why some major advertisements should be there. Basically, that we have considered that factor. Okay. So from here you can see that if number of infected individuals is 0, so this factor will become 0. What will happen? dm by dt will be nothing but minus r0 m minus m0. This equation has only one solution, that is m is equal to m0. If there is no disease at all, still there are some media advertisements which are maintained in the community. So that is M0. So right now, I have already explained you the factor lambda Sm upon P plus M. I have explained the factor M0, but the only thing is this is remaining is the theta A divided by omega plus A. Already I have typed earlier that if you want to make, our government want to make any advertisements on the TV, what will happen? They will charge you. They will basically charge some cost for that. Okay. So if the large population is basically aware, then you can reduce the number of advertisements. So basically, if your awareness population is very less, basically you can assume that if A is approximately 0, then your number of media advertisements are running proportional, increases proportional to the number of infected individuals. But as soon as the awareness population increases, what will happen? This factor start to decrease. Of course, number of media advertisements are proportional to the eye. This R is basically function of decreasing function of the number of infected aware population. So if you have a large fraction of the population aware, then you need less number of awareness programs. That's why I have considered this term 1 minus theta A divided by omega plus A. Remember that theta A must be less than 1. Okay, it cannot be more than 1, and otherwise it will take more than 1. Sometimes this may happen that this factor may become negative. So that is not feasible at all. So the value of theta A always lying between 0 to 1. Okay. So just simply we have analyzed this model by using the fact that S plus I plus A is equal to N. We got the reduced system that is deep. Why we are doing that? We are doing that because we want to get rid of this S factor, because S involves so many variables. So right now you can see that I is there, A is there, N is very simple equation. dn by dt is equal to lambda minus dn minus alpha. If you know the value of N, you know the value of I, you know the value of A, immediately you can get the value of S. That I am interested to get the value of S, I, and A for the model system 1. Okay. So here we got that our solutions are bounded. We have proved that by using the comparison theorem. And here we got the two equilibrium point. One is this is equilibrium point is 0, that is 0 lambda, small lambda, capital lambda, m0 divided by d is this factor, and lambda by d m0. And second one is E star, I star, A star, N star, M star. Here you know that the equilibrium E star is feasible if your basic Poisson number, that is R0, is R1 is equal to this, which is greater than 1. Okay. So here we have separately written the term beta A divided by d into nu plus alpha plus d. No, no. To remember it correctly, what is this number beta lambda divided by d nu plus alpha plus d? This was the basic production number for simple SIRS model, which we have talked earlier. Okay. SIRS model with demography, beta lambda divided by d nu plus alpha plus d was there. Okay, in the Liu and Pu model, we got the same expression. In the model which we have published, we got the same basic production number. But here the basic production number has been modified to beta lambda divided by d nu plus alpha plus d multiplied by this factor. So lambda 0 plus d, p plus m0, lambda m0, lambda 0 plus d, p plus 0. So see the beauty of the considering the term M0, baseline number of media advertisements. The thing is, if you put M0 to be 0, what will happen? If you put M0 to be 0, then the numerator will become lambda 0 plus D into P. What will be the value of denominator? Because you have taken M0 to be 0, so lambda M0 will be 0. Remaining factor will be lambda 0 plus D into P. So denominator will become lambda 0 plus d into p. Numerator is also lambda 0 plus d into p. They will cancel each other. What will comes out to be beta lambda divided by d nu plus alpha plus d. So this is the factor. M0 is the factor which is going to modify your basic convection number. So this is a very important parameter. Of course, it looks very simple. Because M0 is constant. It looks very simple. But see, it has the capability to modify the basic production number. Because once you have modified the basic production, you can easily prove that. As soon as the value of M0 increases, what will happen? R1, the value of R1 decreases. So you can choose M0 large enough so that your basic production number can become less than 1. Because I have already said to once your basic production number becomes less than 1, there is a strong possibility of the eradication of the disease. So basically, we are claiming that government must, if government knows that the number of infected individuals are quite low, our disease has been nearly eradicated from the population, still the government should maintain some media advertisements, which we are calling as baseline number of media advertisements. This is a very important factor. Okay. Then for the analysis, the equilibrium disease equilibrium is always feasible and unstable if R1 is greater than 1. when it is locally asymptotically steady if R1 is less than 1. The endemic equilibrium E star, E is written as endemic equilibrium, E star is visible if R1 is greater than 1 and locally asymptotically stable provided the following condition is satisfied. So these are A3, A1, A2 minus A3 minus A1 star A4. This depends on the parameter values. Okay. Basically, we have shown the local stability by using the RH criteria, Ruth criteria. Any person who is working, dealing with non-linear mathematical models should be well aware about the Ruth criteria. So if all the conditions of RH criteria are satisfied, then we can claim that that particular equilibrium is locally asymptotically stable. So here we have shown that if R1 is greater than 1, then the endemic equilibrium is stable, and this endemic equilibrium is locally asymptotically stable provided this condition is satisfied. Because I have shown that other three conditions are already satisfied, the only question is regarding this. So right now the question comes in the mind, if this is satisfied, if what we find means we have the endemic equilibrium is locally asymptotically stable, if this condition is not satisfied, what will happen? Then this endemic equilibrium may lose its stability. Not may. This will lose its stability. So there is a possibility of half bifurcation. Basically, once this is less than 0. So how the system changes, that we should understand. Okay, we have also shown the global stability of the endemic equilibrium, and the endemic equilibrium is star is globally asymptotically stable inside the region of protection if these conditions are satisfied. So here, you see, by using the Lyapunov stability theory, we have obtained these two conditions. Yeah. So, as the reduced model system undergoes half bifurcation around the endemic equilibrium A star, if there exists R is equal to RC, such that this A3 basically the condition which we have already mentioned, this is 0, and the real part of D size AR by DR is not equal to 0. Basically, D by DR are A1, A2, A3 minus A3 square minus A1 square A4 and R is equal to R3 is not equal to 0. If these two conditions are satisfied, it means our system undergoes to half bifurcation around the endemic equilibrium point. Why we have chosen R as a bifurcation parameter? The thing is, we have increased the number of media treatment proportional to I, and R was a decreasing function of A. So R is a very important factor. If you take R to be 0, basically number of media treatment will become M0. And if you have taken M0 to be 0, then simply we go to the your SIRS model with demography. Okay. So because of the importance of the parameter R, we have selected R as a bifurcated parameter. So the half bifurcation is forward, backward, all those conditions basically we know if you are working in the margin area are there, and these are the parameter values we have selected in the simulation part. For this parameter value, the components of the endemic equilibrium E star are obtained to be this, and the basic reduction number was R0 is equal to 1.87. What is R0? R0 is nothing but beta lambda divided by D nu plus alpha plus D. Because of M0, this basic reduction number has been modified to R1, which is nothing but 1.30. So see, as soon as R0 increases, your initial basic reduction number 0 decreases. Earlier, if M0 is 0, basic reduction number is 1.87. Once we have introduced the M0, your basic reduction number has been modified to 1.30. The eigenvalues for this are these are the four eigenvalues. Here you can see that two eigenvalues are clearly negative, whereas two eigenvalues are with negative real part. It means your equilibrium point E star is locally asymptotically stable for the selected parameter values. Okay, for the above set parameter values, the critical value of RC, because now we are interested know that how many number of media treatments should be there. So we have obtained the critical value of RC to be 0.01011. And for this value of mu2 beta to tau 2 we have obtained, we have made some remarks regarding that. And here we got that R is equal to 0.05, omega is equal to 60, keeping rest of the parameters same as given in table 1.1. the critical value of lambda, that is lambda C1 and lambda C2 are this and this. Here we got that high bifurcation take place at two values of dissemination rate. So we obtain the value of lambda C1. At this point, half bifurcation occurs, and we have obtained the value of another value of lambda, which we are calling as lambda C2. Remember that one value is 0.00997, whereas the other value lambda C2 is 0.01779. You can see that lambda C2 is always greater than lambda C1. So critical values of lambda maximum are R is equal to lambda 0.05 omega 60, keeping the rest of parameter values same as given in table 1.1. The critical value of dissemination rate above which endemic equilibrium is stability and only disease equilibrium is possible is lambda maximum is 0.0239. This is very important factor. Remember that we are getting the maximum value of lambda. If this is 0.0239, what will happen? In this case, endemic equilibrium will not exist. Only if the value of lambda is more than lambda maximum, your endemic equilibrium will not exist. The only disease-free equilibrium will exist. What does it mean? It simply means that if you are running media advertisements so effective that people are responding a lot. People are responding a lot means if people are watching them and they responded and they basically found the aware class immediately, what will happen? You can eradicate the disease from the population. In that case, only disease equilibrium will exist and that will be asymptotically stable. So see, I am going to show you some graphs. From graphs you can understand it. So effect of changing the value of lambda at M0 and R1, you can see that as soon as the value of lambda, remember that dissemination rate among the susceptible individuals. It means how the susceptible population responds towards the media advertisements. And second was the baseline number of media programs. I already told you that M0 has significant impact over the basic of the number. So I wanted to understand that these two parameters are going to affect the basic production number. So you can see that if you are maintaining some basic, if your population is so active, so educated, so they are responding heavily towards the media advertisements, then you can reduce the baseline number of media programs. And if your population of any country, not we should not use the word your, we should use the word if the population of any country is not responding a lot towards the uh, media advertisements, then you will have to increase the baseline number of media programs because we always want to maintain the basic production number below unity. So here you can see this is the last blue line. This is the basically R0 is equal to 1. And after that, on the right side, the value of R1 is less than 1. On the left side, the value of R1 is more. Okay. So we want to lie the value of R1 in the same because we always want to eradicate the disease from the population. Here we have shown the global stability of the endemic equilibrium point in the IAM space. And here we have made some time series graphs. If for selected parameter values, the value of R is 0.005, which is less than the critical value of R, then your solutions opposed to your equilibrium values. Initially, they will fluctuate and then they will settle down to their equilibrium values. And then again here, if R value of this, then S, I, A, and T with respect to time pass, we have made the same graph, similar graph. Okay. And here we have got the base portrait in IAM space. You can see that R the value of R to be 0.005, which is less than RC, your solution to exactly opposed to the equilibrium point. Okay. Here, if your value of R is more than RC, we have taken 0.011. What is happening? You are not approaching towards the equilibrium point. Your solution oscillates around the equilibrium values. Okay. So you will never be able to eradicate the disease. Sometimes the number of infected will be small, sometimes they will be less, sometimes number of averages will be more, sometimes less. So in this case, basically, it will be very difficult to predict the number of infected individuals or to predict number of aware individuals in the community will be very difficult. So we always want the value of R should be less than RC. But if the value of R is less than RC, the endemic equilibrium is asymptotically stable. It means we will not be able to eradicate the disease, which was our basic goal. We want to increase the number of awareness programs in such a way that the disease should be eradicated from the population. If we will maintain the value of R to be less than RC, disease will not be eradicated, but we will get the stable solution. And if we are increasing the value of R more than RC, you are getting the oscillative behavior. Then we are trying to further increase the value of RC, we are getting the same kind of behavior. So here you can see that for the value of R to be 0.011 greater than RC, the solution basically oscillates and limit cycle is formed in IAM space. Okay, here the bifurcation diagram with respect to R, you can see up to this value of R, your solution is stable. After that, basically your solution will become oscillating. Here again, if you change the value with respect to lambda, R is equal to 0.05, omega is equal to 60. So what is happening? Here the aware population initially increases, then it is fixed, and then again the half bifurcation occurs, and then again it is going to be fixed. And here the situation is regarding the advertisement. Here the infected population. Initially, as soon as you are increasing the value of lambda, which is the dissemination rate, it means if your population is too educated, they are responding basically very well towards the media advertisement. What will happen? The number of infected individuals decreases. But suddenly, you will get the instability in the solution. Okay, so here you will not be able to predict that how many infected individuals are there. But after certain period of time, again it will become stable and further increase in the value of lambda, your disease will be eradicated from the community. So remember that we should have to avoid the value of lambda between these two parameters. We have to select lambda in such a way so that the value of lambda should not lie in the same. Okay. So this is the main conclusion. Basically, you should increase R in such a way that your solution, which was stable, number of infected will decrease, but after certain period of time, you may experience that number of infected individuals may increase or may decrease because your solution is forming limit cycle. So you will not be able to predict the exact number of infected individuals. But don't stop there. Either increase the value of lambda or increase the value of R in such a way that you suddenly cross this basically period and you should reach over here so that your solution will become stable. And then slowly, if you will increase the value of R or lambda, what will happen? You will obtain the disease treatment point. Okay, same thing is over here. And here basically conclusion I have already told you. Because of shortage of time, I will be a little bit fast. Let me see the chats. Impact of TV and radio advertisements on the dynamics of an infectious disease and modeling history. So the question was, what basically in 2018, I published that paper, which I have just basically talked about that, basically in mathematical biosciences and engineering. After that, I thought, okay, TV advertisements are more effective. That's correct. But in India, if you will move to the rural population may not have the TV. Then how they will respond? Then I thought, okay, our Prime Minister is talking about Man Ki Baat on radio. So we use radio as a tool to aware the population. So here basically I wanted to study the impact of TV and radio advertisements on the dynamics of an infectious disease. So this is a simple model where we have considered ये पता कैसे आएगा हो गया So the spread of infectious diseases are enormously increased around the globe, and they are major problem of concern. In this regard, TV and radio are accessible to most of the population, play a fundamental role to convey the important public health care messages and also increase the involvement of government and non-government organizations in public health care. In particular, radio is a cost-effective and responsive medium to disseminate the information among the communities. So it is fruitful to spend advertising money on TV and radio ads to get more responsive results. So basically, the idea was that to include the rural population also, we incorporated radio advertisements also. Basically, we have divided the advertisements into two parts. One will come through TV and others will come through radio. So earlier I was talking about the media advertisements, which were the social media, TV, and all those things. Right now we are explicitly talking about TV and radio. One thing is costly, where we are spending the money to make the advertisements, whereas in the second radio, we are not spending money. Basically, a little bit amount and that hardly matters. So here we have considered that the total population as NT advertisements. Okay. So here we have defined the parameter values. Here this is a model. Here, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible,
Hello.
sir.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So here we have considered population to be constant. So we have considered dx by dt is equal to mu n minus beta x by n. Yes, we have considered standard incidence rate. That's why we have considered xy by n minus lambda x t upon p1 plus t. We have assumed that the TV advertisements have limited impact on the population. That's why we have considered this factor. I have already explained you. Lambda one is the responsiveness of the susceptible population towards the TV advertisement. And I is the number of radio advertisements. So again, here we have considered that lambda 2 is the responsiveness of the population towards the radio advertisements. And lambda 0 XA, I have already explained to you that population who belongs go to the aware population because of the social factor, then they can again join this. On the natural recovery, also, here we want the natural recovery. Some people will join to the after recovery, they will join X class. Okay. And we use the natural death rate because we are considering population to be constant, though that's why we have considered the birth rate is same as the death rate. Okay. So here 1 minus sigma nu I, consider that the population who acquired the infection after recovery, some people will become aware and some people may not become aware, and then they will again go to the susceptible class. Okay, that's why 1 minus sigma nu I, and here we have got the sigma nu I term. Okay, and T is the number of radio TV advertisements. Here we have considered the same equation. Here we have earlier, here 1 minus theta 1 x divided by omega plus x. As soon as the number of our individuals increases, what will happen? The number of TV advertisements you can decrease. Here radio advertisements we have considered R2 y by n. Here we have not considered this fact because radio, if you are making any advertisement on radio, it costs a little bit. So it hardly matters for us, but TV, to make any advertisement on TV, this is very costly. So that's why we have considered this term over here. Here we have not considered that. And T0 and R0 are the baseline number of advertisements on TV and radio respectively. And we have considered that the population, whether that is aware through TV or radio, both will join to the etc. It hardly matters for us that a person he became aware either through TV or radio. Aware means simply aware. He has the sufficient knowledge. And of course, here we have also considered that they are fully protected from the infection. They know each and every precautionary measure. They can acquire infection only when they basically go to the penalty, either for the social welfare or because of some other sources. Okay. So, thank you. So I'm introducing the fraction x by n is equal to s, y by n, I, a by x by a by n. We got this simple model. This is similar to earlier. And here, using the fact s plus I plus a is equal to 1, because we have considered total population to be constant, we got this reduced system. And we have analyzed this system as usual. And we got that the basic production number over here is beta by nu plus mu and lambda 0 plus mu, lambda 1 f1 T0 plus lambda 2 f2 R0 plus lambda 0 plus mu, which is greater than 1. A star is feasible only when this R1 is becomes greater than 1. Okay, where A0 is this quantity, F1 T0 is this quantity, and F2 R0 is this quantity. So you can see that as soon as your either R0, number of baseline number of radio treatments increases, or your baseline number of TV treatments increases, your basic production number decreases. And it can be made below unity if the value of R0 and T0 is very low. Okay, here again we got that the disease equilibrium is always feasible and unstable if R1 is greater than 1, whereas it is locally asymptotically stable if R1 is less than 1. The equilibrium E star is feasible if R1 is greater than 1 and is locally asymptotically stable if and only if the following condition holds. Okay, so again by using the RS criteria, we got this condition, and by using the center manifold, we have shown that it goes through the transcriptal bifurcation. We have derived all those results. By selecting this set of parameter values, we got the endemic equilibrium point. The value of RB is 3.03, whereas the value of R1 is 2.30. This is basically beta by nu plus mu. Okay. And here R1 is 0.34. So as soon as your baseline number of PV advertisements or radio advertisements increases, the value of basic production number decreases. Here the eigenvalues are this, and critical value of beta star we have obtained this. And here we have shown the effect of dissemination rate of awareness, lambda 1 and baseline number of TV advertisements on the basic production number. You can see that as soon as either lambda 1 or T0 increases, what is happening? Your basic production number decreases. Okay. Here same thing is lambda 0, lambda 2 and R0. You can see. Here we have made some graphs with respect to R1 and R2. And similar graphs we have obtained. So you can, if you want, you can read this paper is published in Mathematical Methods in Applied Sciences. So if anyone is interested, he can read this paper from there. Myself and Rajnisha, one of my students. Here, transcriptal bifurcation, which is forward direction. So for beginners, basically I am skipping this slide. The persons who have some experience, they can understand what kind of analysis I have performed. Okay. For the beginners, only thing is that they should understand that how we have developed the mathematical model from the Karmic secondary to SIRS model with demography, then UNP model, and then suddenly I have published a paper in 2011. Okay. Here again, global stability, and here is the conclusion. So I thought, okay, so this is the modeling the impact of TV and radio advertisements to control infectious diseases. Here we have combined TV and radio both together. So this become very interesting problem. So here, basically, I will only talk about the model. Here we have combined the advertisements. So T plus R, here we have divided the other population. Earlier we have divided only the advertisements through TV or through radio. But if you are aware, then you are belonging to the aware class. Okay. Here we have divided the aware class into two classes. If you are aware, become aware through TV, then you will join the AT class. If you are become aware through radio, then you have joined the AR class. And the total number of advertisements whether they are coming through TV or radio, they will be T plus R. So that's why we have divided lambda 1 as T upon P1 plus T plus R, and here we have considered R divided by P2 plus T plus R. Okay, and then people will join from the AT class to S class, AR class to S class, that is lambda 0 A3 plus AR. That's why we have considered it. T0 is the baseline number of radio TV advertisements, R0 is the baseline number of radio advertisements. Basically, the idea is we should not cause radio advertisements over here. You can take another medium which is also costly. One medium is TV, other may be another medium which is also costly. Then how the dynamics of the system changes, which is more effective, you can easily access from this mathematical model. Okay, we have performed a lot of analysis. Basically, because of the shortage of time, I will have to go some other important work. So just you can see over here some local, global, all those analysis, bifurcation analysis we have performed. Okay, so all these things are there. Again, here we got the bifurcation. Basically, this at this point we have a bifurcation point. A bifurcation at this point again, and here again we will have to maintain sufficient by maintaining sufficient number of media advertisements, TV, and the R0. You can reduce your basically you can eliminate the disease from the community by maintaining higher values of lambda. Okay, if your population is very responsive to a disease, basically means the population will respond only when you will make very attractive advertisements. If you will make good advertisements, people will listen it, and then people will basically watch it, and then people will respond to that. So that is more important to maintain the sufficient number of media advertisements, and the advertisements should be framed in such a way that they should appeal the population. They should be attractive, and population should respond after seeing those media advertisements. With these words, basically, I am stopping to share my slides. So if right now any question is there, I will be happy to basically answer those queries. Professor Jamal, hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
There is
Yeah.
some network problem. There is issue in his place, so I think he is not able to access right now.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
So right now, because I have some other work, so I want to answer some questions, if you want. That's why I have started. Okay.
Sir, can you hear me?
No, you are not audible. Hello.
Hello, sir. Yeah. If any participant want to give questions, you may type in the chat box. So thank you very much.
Okay, if you have any question or queries, so please share my email ID to the participants, and they can write it to me. I will answer those questions. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for such a great presentation. And we hope that in the future also you may work with us. And if any participant want to ask question, as I already mentioned earlier, then kindly post the questions in the chat box. Then we will read it out. Okay, I think we have not received the question. If later on any participant from YouTube live stream viewers and from the Zoom attendee, if you want to give any question, then you can give in the WhatsApp group as well, and as well as to us. You can send the question, that we may forward it to the today's speaker, Dr. Misra, and we really thank you, sir, for giving your time and such a great
Thank you very much.
presentation.
Thank you very much. So
And-
thanks a lot for your invitation and to ask me to deliver the lectures. Okay. I could have talked a lot because of the shortage of time, so I'm stopping over here because of some other important work. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. So I'm leaving right now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
For the participant, tomorrow there will be a valedictory program after the second session, that is from 4 p.m. It will start, the program will start from 4 p.m. So if anyone interested to give feedback or any suggestion or share the experience, whichever you want to share, you can give us the questions through the WhatsApp or in the chat box tomorrow in the tomorrow's program. So we will be welcoming any kinds of questions if it is there. And kindly attend tomorrow's session, morning session and afternoon session again once again. Thank you very much. See you.